I mean, this is another FFE map.
Very large, taller Malter, yes. And let's run this logo.
We're in game 3, Rance. viOLet is up 2-0. I don't know, man. I mean, is one game away from elimination here.
Yeah, and he wasn't looking so hot in the first couple rounds. He got cheese once. Okay, we'll erase that one. But that first map,
yeah,
it was a little.
He missed the force fields. You know, I mean, and that's one of those deals. You miss the force fields, you lose the game. If you're gonna choose to go 5-gate all in,
5-gate with no stalkers. Yeah. Did he get some stalkers? In
no.
That? Yeah, he was
pure,
all sentry zealot. Yeah.
It's actually hard to make stalkers if you 5-gate off one base, because stalkers are really expensive, and you don't quite have the economy to really support 5 gates making zealot sentry. And if you decide to make stalkers as well, that just further like cuts your production. So doing like a 1-gas 4-gate, you can afford to make stalkers because you have more probes on minerals. But yeah.
This map's kind of interesting because you are not certain of the spawn location.
viOLet actually 8-pulled.
Oh, wow.
It's either a 7 or an 8-pull.
Love it.
Because viOLet, I'm
Let's
sure,
go,
knows that his opponent is going to FFE. And he saw his opponent try and Nexus first last game, so this is actually such a good build.
This is kind of a big map, though, to do like an 8-pull on. Which way do you send your Zerglings?
He's scouting.
So when you see
Overlord,
obviously nobody there.
This Overlord is going to get here. You're going to send your Zerglings to the middle, right? So
Okay.
he knows not to send them here now. So he's going to send them in this direction, and then he can diverge when he knows for sure. And this Overlord will get here in time, I believe, to see this. I used to my standard opening in PvZ when every single
look at
Protoss.
this. Cannon first for the expand. That could actually
That might win him the game.
Yeah.
Cannon is exposed on 2 sides though. If he walls this off immediately, it'll be okay.
Looks like he's ready to, and the Zerglings are going to hit the front here, hitting the ramp. And there they go. The third gate, or the second gate goes down, and that's
actually
it.
a complete wall.
That is tight.
So viOLet now has to drone behind this. He cannot continue this pressure. Cannon finishes. So has to be feeling fantastic about that.
It's kind of crazy that pulled probes there just now.
He was worried the gate was going to go down, and that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Because if the gate goes down, then he still loses.
Then it's over. Yeah. All right. Well, nice Spidey sense there by
Yeah.
And now viOLet gets to play from behind, sort of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I'm surprised didn't throw down 3 pylons and a cannon. Because that would basically ensure that he won the game. Like, viOLet doesn't have a drone out on the map. So he can't, like, proxy hatch. Oh, and look at this. Is not expanded. He is chroning out zealots off one base.
Fancy,
so
fancy.
And there's actually some idle probes here. Those get fixed finally. But actually might just go all in here. And viOLet knows about this. He sees that there is no Nexus there. So I'm actually kind of unsure as to why would do this.
Well, maybe he's going to change his mind here.
I mean, his opponent went... Like, he's basically just giving viOLet a chance to get back into this game. And I don't like that move at all out of him. I think he should have expanded instead of making 4 zealots. And I think if he's going to do this, he should have started the +1 when he had 100 gas. But he didn't do that either. You can rush for a +1 and do like a 6 zealot poke with +1. It's very, very strong. You can basically do what he did. Fool your opponent into thinking you're opening up Nexus first. Throw down 2 gates to block. And then rush for a fast +1 and do a 6 zealot poke. And then your Zerg opponent thinking you went Nexus first, unless they have a freaking Overlord in the way like viOLet did, will actually get super caught off guard by it. And they often will just like lose.
Well, 4 zealots going to come into the Zerg base there and could...
It's going to deny the hatch.
Deny the hatch, yeah. Here comes the Zerglings, though, and only 2 of them are going to make it in time, leaving 4 left, but some sick Zergling micro there. Only 1 Zergling lost. Still not quite enough to deal with these Zealots, though.
And the hatch canceled, so that's a huge deal. And the Zerglings are just going to head on in. They're going to try and get the Queen. They get a surround on the Queen. The Queen's going to fall. And wow.
They're going to be able to take down all of this too, aren't they?
I don't know.
Back to the wall. It's going to get tight.
They're too low. So the Zerglings are able to take that out. But Awe has a Nexus down, and viOLet does not have a hatchery down. He did cancel, though. Let's take a look at drone count, worker count. So 27 to 27, so even for both players.
And it looks like viOLet is going to knock down the rocks and try to get his third up quick.
Yep. 2 additional gates coming down for Awe. His Nexus is finishing up. He's going to go ahead and transfer. Warp gate on the way. It's being chronoed. Sentries being produced. That, of course, was the smart move there. Get those sentries out early so that they can build up lots of energy. 2 more on the way. And a proxy pylon going down from Awe.
It's pretty fancy, and that's going to come in handy when the third goes down and viOLet's base quick. Zergling's finishing up the rocks over there, but no immediate drone moving over. I'm kind of surprised given how many minerals are out right now.
Yeah.
A little bit surprising that he wasn't more aggressive with putting that hash down.
And viOLet's going to find this pylon. He is also responsible about scouting with his lings. Third going down for viOLet.
Nice.
I'd like to see a Rotorn go down for viOLet. I think he's going to need it pretty soon. +1's going down. has 4 gates up, and actually Warp Gate not finished. This is a 9-minute mark in the game. Warp Gate is not finished. It's always fun to see. He's making units out of gateways Brood War style and actually chronoing them. And I think that this push out of Awe actually could do a lot of damage. viOLet is actually making a Baneling nest. He is not getting roaches. There's no roach nest down, but viOLet with that spider sense is making spines, but he might lose his third. I think that's the concern here for me with viOLet, is that he could just lose his third here.
Zerglings poke in, are able to spot the force heading out of the Protoss base, which is good news for viOLet.
And look at these Lings ready for the counterattack, but there's a Zealot there to block. A good move out of Awe. He might lose some of these Zealots for free though, and I don't think he should push into the space. Ooh, the pylons in the low ground. That's actually so smart.
Ooh, and those Zerglings could get us around on those Zealots. No, they didn't. That would have been a big deal. Those four were lost.
Oh, you can't lose the probe. Don't lose the probe, Awe.
Oh, he's totally going to lose the probe.
He lost the probe, and with that, he kind of loses his time. viOLet, expanding down to the bottom, says that base isn't going to be safe. And this is actually not safe. You cannot do this. He sees the Banelings, he turns around, he knows. Without perfect force fields, you absolutely lose all of your units there. Because he doesn't have Stalkers to target the Banelings down with.
There we go. And it looks like Awe going to take off. Head on back to home.
I mean, I don't know if this was such a bad thing. He forced 5 Spine Crawlers, and he forced gas into Banelings. But viOLet going for Spire off 2 base. And a robotics support bay on the way. So we're going to see Colossus production out of Awe, and that is not the best way to deal with Mutalisks. I hate to break it to you. It's actually a terrible way to deal with Mutalisks. Awe's going to get that observer there. He's not going to be happy. And he still doesn't know about this hidden third base, which I'm going to assume viOLet is basically just going to put drones on gas at this base. And Awe's going to go clear out the rocks, but he actually has no Stalkers. So yeah, I mean, these Colossus coming out, that Colossus is actually rallied like to his opponent's base. It's not a good move. And +1 attack on the way, 9 Mutalisks on the way.
Look at the double Spire coming out. That's funny.
I think this is going to be GG. Is there another second Spire?
I saw it first. Yeah, there's the...
So he is going double Spire.
There we go.
Which has become more and more popular in this matchup. I've actually started doing it myself on big maps. And this probably is... I don't see a good way for Awe to deal with this. Like, he's making emergency cannons, but he's just going to lose so many probes.
Here come the mutas in the base there, warping in some stalkers to deal with it. And it looks like the mutas are going to be enough to deal with these stalkers. But they're going to go ahead and take off, try to get some probe kills, force them to cancel on that cannon there. And they did. They got a few kills there. Should be able to clean up any of these units here, as none of them can engage air and could effectively deny
one Nexus. But you don't want to lose that sentry. That's a full energy sentry. This Nexus definitely needs to be canceled.
Meanwhile, the third base pops for viOLet in the southwest corner.
And he actually has put drones down here. I was a little bit surprised about that.
A lot of them, too.
I figured he would just populate that with, and it looks like he's trying to expand other places as well. That's fine. It's a decent move.
There it is, the eco about to kick in, though, for viOLet.
And some of these zealots actually kind of heading down here in a good direction. So, nope. Looks like they're going to check out this base. They're not going to find a third there. And then I think Awe is going to know something's up. Double Spire is down. He's not getting upgrades out of his second one yet. Feel like that would have been a good move. There we go. Going with the double ups. And that's a lot of Mutalisks, guys. That's actually so many Mutalisks out. When you start getting double ups on your Mutalisks and you have this many of them, it becomes so hard for Protoss to deal with. He doesn't have Blink yet. Hasn't started Templar Tech at all either. These Stalkers are all just going to die.
Yep, there you go. And the splash damage starting to hit the other ones, and that greatly depletes them.
Yep.
But the mutas are going to have to back up just a little bit. That's a lot of forces to deal with in one place there. Still going to hover around, though. Stay close. See what they can snipe, like a sentry or 5. Yep. There's one sentry.
Sentry with Guardian Shield actually is really good against mutas. It cuts down on the damage they do by a lot. viOLet throwing down another hatch here. A lot of drones being transferred. Double ups on the way. Should see the infestation pit soon. And finally taking his normal third as his, that'll be what, 6th base? Or 5th base rather, sorry. Romulo's coming in. Just been replenishing this muta count constantly. 7 more on the way.
I never in a million years, Gwyn, thought that an 8 pool would be followed up by double Spire.
Well, I mean, like, that's the thing, Rance. And so one of the reasons that I used to 8 pool in this matchup was against a Nexus first, I was guaranteed to win the game. It's a guaranteed win. Against an FFE, I could usually do a fair amount of damage because players didn't do the double gateway wall off. And I would only make 8 links, and then I would drone behind it. Get a queen and drone, and it actually, you know, if you do damage, it doesn't actually put you as far behind as you might think.
As you can see, Blink finishing for the Protoss, which is good news.
He's spent a lot of money on 3 Colossus, which actually does him very little. If your opponent is going Mutalisk, he needed to go that Templar route. Just getting out Archons rather, or maybe High Templar 4 Archons is so strong against Mutalisks. You can use them kind of like Thors. So we're going to take a look and see what are these Mutalisks going after. Just a lot of Stalkers. And Dark Shrine actually on the way, so this is going to be for some sick DT harass, which I would really like. If there's any way to come back in a game for Protoss, it's DTs. It really is. It's DTs or it's like really good Warp Prism play.
Mm-hmm.
But viOLet's closing in on maxed, and that's a lot of Mutalisks out for him. So, you know, needs to have an answer for these mutas at some point real soon. Otherwise, the mutas are just going to engage his whole army because they don't even give a shit.
I can't believe that. Yeah, I can't believe the 3 Colossus have been standing there for so long. What a waste. What an unfortunate.
He's just diving those turrets.
Look at that. That's enough. That's enough mutas to totally kill all of these Stalkers here.
Like, all the Stalkers are going to go down.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to blink away, but it doesn't matter because he's just going to
He's over the hump.
And kill them.
Yep.
He's hit that critical mass. And, like, there's a ton of turrets here, and viOLet's just like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'll kill your Dark Shrine now.
No. Take a look at what's going on in the southwest.
We did have Zealots warped in down here.
So there's not really any mining going on down there.
But, I mean, viOLet still has so many bases up.
And he is balling pretty hard.
He is just wrecking through this like low stalker count.
Yep, and those look like they're the last two stalkers.
GG.
And GG coming out from the champion of rundown number 9. Ladies and gentlemen, a surprise.
Rance, I think your sarcasm was so thick.